But I have the other ones available in there.
Wait.
But
What? So, Luke, what are you drinking today?
Coca-Cola.
Morning on the way to the gym and set my ukulele on top of the car and then drove off down the road.
I need a bow after that. Thank you. All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Look at that.
I learned my lesson from last time. What a welcome, thank you. I drink the most fruity drinks imaginable.
It's laundry day.
it's laundry day.
So you always wear hats with laundry day?
I'm going to do you a favor, James. I just say, no later.
So how did you two meet?
Well, there's these places in San Francisco. I think they're called bathhouses.
It's like one of those things where everyone wants to focus on like the big events that happen, but day to day, what we're doing is we're on like Boulevard Draw Street, smoking weed, making comics. It's chill. It's so much fun, and like
Yes. Man, I'm not a YouTuber. I do this because I want to sell comic books. Woohoo! Yes, guys. It is Sunday. You know what that means? That means another episode of A Drink With Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their hopes and their dreams and their lives, but also their books and their campaigns. Because frankly, I'm done with mainstream comics. Mainstream sucks, and indie is where the passion is, guys. I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend, a good Sunday. And in the chat is already Mike. Mike is here. Welcome, Mike. Good evening to you and afternoon, morning to others. Dave, I recently received my artist edition commission by Yes, they arrived. They are arriving. For your information, your Witchblade. Yeah, you got a wonderful Witchblade from POW. That's one of the coolest Witchblades that I've ever seen. So good. And it's yours. It's yours. That's a phenomenal piece, and it's yours, sir. I'm so happy to hear that it arrived all the way from Brazil. It took a little detour. It's always remarkable how long things take from Brazil. It's like it's a different planet. So thank you for backing, by the way, for getting that commission. Pow had a lot of fun drawing that for all you guys. And welcome to the chat, Mike. Welcome. Guys, some of you I think some of you don't really follow me on the socials, which is fine. And some of you haven't backed Perfect 10 issue 5 yet. For some reason, I don't know why, because it's a fantastic book. This is such a cool series, guys, and I want to show you guys something. If you miss it, some of you missed it. That can happen. So I'm here to help. I'm at your service, guys. So check this out. POWERTRIP book 2. That's another book, also another new book, together with Perfect 10 book 5. So one campaign, 2 new books to make it easier for you guys, but also for me, because otherwise I have to run 2 campaigns and it'll drive me nuts. So look at this. We're now at 121 backers, which is great. We have 10 days left to go. We're in the second 30 days. So this is it, guys. So the 10 days left. And I made a little update yesterday or the day before, because now we have a new member on our creative team, Thiago Gomez. He does the inks. So now POW's pencils get inked by Thiago. So POW's now focusing on the pencil work, right? So Thiago can do the inking, and this will speed up the process a little bit for POW. And so I can show you guys like pencil pages, completely pencil, before Thiago inks them. So here you go, guys. This is one of the pages, pencil art. Look at this. This is so good. I'm you know, guys, I'm such a fan of POW's artwork. I was before we started this, making this book together, but I'm still a fan. I love his art. Look at this. Look at the details. Let me zoom in a little bit. So, and Thiago's now inking these pages. So they already made a few pages, right? But I'm just posting this here. I can't show you guys everything, but every page is just fantastic. And this is basically our superhero team, Safeguard. You will get to know them a little bit better in this issue, together with some new villains and some familiar villains, just good old superhero material. So if you haven't backed this, guys, the link to this is in the description of this video. You can also go to Fund My Comic if you want a third cover. There's a cover C drawn by Allan Goldman. You can check that out also. Right, stop the screen. For now, Mike says it took a tour. Yes, thanks, Jamie Comics. You're very welcome, sir. Thank you. Every story in this campaign looks interesting, and all have great art. Oh yeah. The POWERTRIP book has like 3 different stories. So 3 new short stories done by different artists. Really cool stuff. You can check it out, guys, and I'll showcase it at the end of this stream for a few minutes also. But for now, it's time for the guest. Guys. It's a guest. He has been on the show before a long time ago when I was when I was barely starting out. I think it was a long time ago. And he's back. So he's still like doing comic books, and he's back, and he has something new to showcase or talk about. So we're going to do that. So let me see if I have everything set up. I think that I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I have a very warm welcome for the guest of the hour, Mr. Calvin Gulotta.
Hey, everybody.
I didn't want to mispronounce your last name, so I got a little bit worried there, but I got it right.
Yes, you did it. Yeah, you actually pronounced it better than most people do.
Really?
Yeah, really. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Must be the European like thing. We are used to different sounds.
Yeah, that's correct. So like Americans mostly say like Gulotta.
Yeah.
That's I mean, the Americanized version, I guess technically that's how, Americans say their vowels. Yeah, sure, that's correct. But yeah, Gulotta is is how you're supposed to say it, because with the double T, you're supposed to like elongate it,
Right. Yeah,
technically
yeah.
speaking. But
So
yeah,
where do you live?
I live in the U.S. I'm
Yeah.
in Kansas City, but
In Kansas.
my nonna, she's from Sicily. Like my dad's side of the family is from Sicily.
Right.
So yeah, they came over here up through New York, and I guess it's expensive for them to live there. So then they
New
wanted
York.
they
I
needed to
bet.
move
I bet.
somewhere somewhere a little less expensive. So the Midwest in the U.S.
Right.
Was, I guess, their solution to that. So that's how I ended up. My family ended up from being in New York to here in the Midwest.
Right. Yeah, man. But you're not going along with people like mispronouncing your last name. So you just introduce yourself as Gulotta or the way they pronounce it, right?
I
You're really
tend
strict.
to
Like, no, you're supposed to pronounce it this way.
no, I don't really I'm not really strict on it.
Oh,
Just simply because I don't want to embarrass anybody. So like like if my wife and I go out to eat, I say Gulata, party of two, and then they say oh Gulata party of two, your table's ready. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not gonna like go correct them, but
you pronounce it wrong.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I just try to not be the that guy.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, man. Okay. I have to ask the question that I need to ask all my guests at the beginning of the stream, and I can't really see, but I will trust you, right? So the question is, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking coffee.
Coffee. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, coffee at 1 p.m.
So a
in the
particular
afternoon
brand
here.
that you like?
Any what that I like?
A particular brand that you like to drink?
No,
Just
whatever
any
my
coffee.
wife buys at Costco is whatever is
Just
whatever.
whatever carries caffeine, right?
Yeah.
Right. All right, Jens, it's coffee today.
Don't you talk to me before I have my coffee. Oh, I need some more coffee.
Thank you, Jens. Thank you for that. Mike says the skies in Kansas City are looking kind of hellish behind you today, Calvin.
That's par for the course here in the Midwest, especially during this time of year.
Right, really, right. Yeah, it's really cool the setup you have right now. I have no idea how that technically functions, but it's really cool.
But the back. Oh man,
So
I
basically,
am.
response to your emotions, to your expressions.
Well, I haven't got it. It doesn't do that. No, it does move.
Oh,
It is animated. I haven't figured out. I'm a complete noob to OBS, so I've not figured out how to put this background animated in the back. But I also just got Mike's. What he was trying to say went way over my head. Yeah, I guess he was referring to the skies in the background here with
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, yes. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Mike. That went way over my head. My bad, man. This is why I have to have coffee in the afternoon because I'm not fully awake even in the afternoon.
Yeah. No, but it's a nice backdrop. Is that part of the comic?
Yeah, this is so behind me, this is a part of the city that Don Herconi owns. So in the Underworld, there's this big city. I haven't said the name of it yet in the comic. It does have a name. I'm waiting to say the name for later on. You'll see why. But
Okay.
for now, as far as the readers know, this part of the city is owned by Don Herconi, and I modeled him after, like kind of like a 1980s villain, like mob villain, so to speak. So that's why he's got kind of like the pinstripe suits, and his city kind of has that cyberpunk retro 1980s look to it. Now the other Dons, their parts of the city look different. So when you meet the other the other members of the ruling four, the three of them also own a part of the city, and their parts look different in
Oh,
comparison. So
okay. We will talk about your campaign in a little bit. Mike says, haha, Jens looks like he's facing a small corner behind a curtain on on airplane or something in those clips. Yeah, yeah. I think to set something up quick for these short clips, but he did great. Great, Jens is great. Yeah. So, you so you're making your own comic right now, right? But what about your interest besides making your own comic? How did that start? Did it where did it come from? Your interest in making your own comic?
Man, I had to go way back in my life on that one. So
Oh,
a
sure.
long time ago.
Way
I
back
think
machine. Woo, woo.
yeah.
20 years ago. Longer.
Well,
Longer?
huh?
50, 25 years ago. Longer?
Maybe a little bit. I'm thinking back to like 5th or 6th grade.
All right. Okay.
So like, we're talking like early 2000s. So
All right.
yeah, we're right around 20, 25, maybe 24 years ago. My teachers had always told me, even as a little kid, that they enjoyed whenever I would answer word problems, because it, like, I guess, I don't know, I went hard on the details instead of just answering the question with whatever the correct answer was. I'd read out why I thought it was that way. And then that evolved into middle school where we would get like book reading projects. You had to like go read a book, and then write an essay over what the book was about, what you
Mhm.
thought of the book, etc. And one teacher, she came to me and she was like, "Did you just copy what was in the book into your essay?" I said, "No, I read the book and put what I thought about the book in my essay." And she goes, "Well, I'm gonna have to go and check your work and go read the book again myself because it seems to me like you just wrote what was in the book in your essay." I was like, I was like, like freaking 12 at the time. So I'm like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead. Like, I don't know what you want me to say."
Mhm.
I guess she thought I was lying. So she went back and she read it and she's like, "Okay, your essay was genuinely so good. I'm sorry. I thought that you got it from the book." I was like, "Okay,
Thank
thank you."
Yeah.
So then that followed me into high school where I turned in a book essay again late. We did have to do an essay on the Odyssey. And the teacher was like, "Hey, I'm not going to give you a D on this since you turned in late. I'm going to give you an A. Have you thought about, writing, for a living?" And I was, when you hear that in high school, you're kind of like, your teenage years, you're kind of like an arrogant prick, you know. So I was like,
You? No, you are so modest and shy.
I try.
Were you different back then?
In high school, I was more of the quiet kid. I,
Okay.
I was cool with everybody. I had friends from all different groups. I hung out with like the jocks who would make fun of me for hanging out with the nerds, who would then ask why I'm hanging out with jocks because they're jerks.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of in between. Like I could be a jerk if if someone's being a jerk off to me. I could be arrogant, but I could also be, humble and caring. But it kind of just depended on the group I was with. But yeah, I kind of thought the teacher was, pulling my leg a little bit because since he was the English teacher, of course he's going to be into writing. Of course he's going to encourage people to write, et cetera, and so on. So I started thinking, well, maybe he's not kidding. So I started writing short stories, and then my uncle and my aunt got me into comics. So I was like, well, how about I write my own comic? Maybe I can just write the story out. I can sketch. It's horrible. Like I can sketch well enough for for example, my art studio to see like a scene I'm trying to get them to draw or a character.
Mhm.
But I can't draw very well. So I guess you could say me like writing comics started right around in high school. I could go back to some stuff. I found some really, really old spiral notebooks from middle school where I, kind of wrote some short stories into there. Um, but yeah, that's how it all started. And then kind of like as you put it, I kind of got so sick and tired of mainstream comics and media. Everything's got to be political, and I don't.
Right.
You can have your political views. I'm not gonna spurn someone, who's whatever who they want to vote for, etc., or what they believe, so on and so forth. But when I read a comic, I'm there for the story. I'm there for the characters. I'm not there to be preached to. I don't care about whatever you want to insert. Just give me a good story. Give me some good characters. If it's backed up by good artwork, all the freaking better.
Yeah, I don't think there are many readers who like being preached to. I don't think that audience really exists. This is why sales are like down, right? By the way, Darkside joined us. Welcome, Darkside. Hail, hail, hail! And he says, "I also want to become a VTuber." Why is it called a VTuber?
Well, they call them like these are like virtual models. So
Oh,
I think that's
really?
why they call them VTubers, because it's a virtual model, and then like you stream on Twitch, then you upload to YouTube. So tube the
Why?
tuber. I'm assuming that's why. I don't really know why the
Okay.
science
Well,
behind that.
it sounds plausible. And this is why I do this show, guys. So I learn things. So thanks.
I'm
And
not a
Mike,
VTuber, but so by any means.
Mike says, kind of in between, socially in high school. Lucky you, Calvin. Unusual.
Oh well, thank you. Yeah, I try to be friends with everyone. Like I said, I really did. I didn't like cliques. It never made sense to me to not be friends with someone because they dress differently or because they like
Right.
this guy plays sports. I'm in drama. I shouldn't be friends with him. Why? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. So you're very social, right? So yeah.
I am introverted. I keep to myself, but I will socialize with anybody who wants to talk to me,
Sure. Yeah.
so long as they're not coming at me and just like being a critic
Hmm.
unduly. And by that I mean just bad mouthing, bad manners, stuff like that.
Yeah. And Mike notices that Marinus is not late today. Is that a mistake? Usually Marinus drops in the last minute. Welcome, Gorilla Mar. Welcome. Guys, subscribe to Gorilla Mar's YouTube channel for, at least weekly reviews, comic book reviews.
That's a cool
Sure.
icon. I like that, Gorilla Mar. Your little logo. I like that.
Yeah, actual gorilla. Let's see if I missed anything, guys. I don't think so. Wait, these comics. I await your VTuber portrait that looks like Ken from Fist of the North Star. Open leather jacket, shirtless. Do you know that anime, Calvin?
I do, yes. I know it's really, really old. I actually think I was reading about it, and I think I could be wrong, so please nobody attack me in the comments or on Twitter or anything.
Sure.
I could be wrong. But I want to say that Akira Toriyama said at one point, Fist of the North Star was like an inspiration for him for Dragon Ball. I could be wrong, but I think I read that somewhere.
Well, it's that can very well be. We all draw inspiration from a lot of sources, right?
Right.
So it's usually not just one thing. I like this. I like a little bit of this. Like a little bit of this. And you make something new. That's perfectly fine. Right, because your own comic has this anime thing, this manga style. So were those the kind of comics that you also read? Manga?
No. So when I was little, my Aunt Joy actually got me started. I want to say the very, very first one I read. I don't know the issue number, so I hope everybody will forgive me. But it was a Gambit X-Men comic, because I think Gambit at the time was like her favorite X-Men, so she had a lot of that. So she kind of got me started on that, and then I got into Spider-Man and things like that.
Right.
But I wanted to do something in kind of that anime manga style, because that's what I gravitated towards as I got older. Of course, I like American comics. Of course, I have them. Of course, I collect them. But I don't know. There's just something about that style to me that that appeals to me. I can't really tell you exactly what it is. It's just it's kind of like having to explain what your favorite color is.
Sure.
I just like the color. I can't. There's no rhyme or reason. It appeals to me.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. Like manga has its own specific language, right?
Yeah.
It's completely different, like way of experiencing the story. And so throughout the 90s, like American style got mixed in with Japanese style, like artists like Joe Madureira. They used American influences to upscale his art, and I think this might be the comics you also read, right?
Yeah, right. And I think it kind of goes back to your point. We all take inspiration from different
Mhm.
points. So yeah, which of course I think it can make a comic or a manga better. Hey, I took inspiration from X, Y, and Z, and
Mhm.
then that's how I came up with this art style, or that's how I came up with this story. So yeah, it all makes sense in the end, especially with artists who can do that.
Yeah, and Darkseid says that the Fist of the North Star manga is superb. Mike says you've never seen so many head explosions and body explosions as in that manga. It's a visual feast. Some people gravitate towards violence, right? That's
Yeah. Oh well, that happens a few issues in Underworld Don. Probably
right,
by the third or fourth one, things get things pick up.
right. So what is your own like favorite genre or like
Um,
theme?
I think I'm gonna have to be a bit generic here. I like supervillains a lot. I know everybody likes the superhero comics, but I didn't read the superhero comics because I like superheroes. I read it for the villains.
Right. Okay.
Um, so like Doctor Doom was my favorite. So I'd pick up
All
every
right.
Fantastic Four I could get my hands on that had Doctor Doom in it. Not that I don't like Silver Surfer or any of the other appearances, but Doctor Doom was and still is my favorite. No, I am not going to go see the one with not Tony with freaking Robert Downey Jr. I'm not interested.
Right. Darkseid says, as you know, Dave, my taste is very broad. Yeah, you like comics with broads also. I know. Uh, Apocalypse design, beat that. Yeah, the Apocalypse design. Yeah, that's a cool design. Right. Let's see. Let's bring up your campaign. Let's see what you have. Underworld Don. So is this the same campaign that you talked about the last time you were on my
Yeah,
show?
so it's been man, it's been a year and a half of
Yeah. Right.
just a roller coaster ride getting this ready. Most of it has been with printers. Since this is my debut comic, my debut issue,
Mhm.
I I'm kind of learning everything from square one. I of course do my research. I watch YouTube videos. I watch streams, much yours included, to kind of get to know what worked for indie creators, what didn't work, what was their experience with this. Maybe to avoid making the same mistakes that they did, and then I make new ones of my own. But for me, the most difficult part for me was finding a printer that I could afford. Some printers had like a minimum order, right? So like some printers wanted me to order like 1,000 units,
Mm.
and sorry, excuse me. And as much as I would love to
Yeah.
sell 1,000 units, I'm realistic. Sorry to the chat and everybody watching this in the future if I sound pessimistic. But for me, it's just realistic. I'm not going to sell 1,000 units on my first campaign. It'd be awesome, but it's not happening. So when I look at that, when I look at those printers, like, yeah, we want you to order 1,000 units, which is going to cost X amount of money. It's like I can't do that.
My
I got
my first book, right? So my first was Earthling 1, and I printed it in 2014, and I printed 1,000 copies. I was so self assured that I would all sell them, right? It took me
mhm.
8 years to sell them.
Oh wow.
1,000 copies, 8 years. So yeah, so I completely know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah, it was difficult finding one that didn't have a minimum order. So I found some
Yeah.
that didn't have a minimum order, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I ordered a few test copies, proofs, whatever the correct terminology is, and some of them would come back with like, the colors weren't very good. For whatever reason, their printer didn't print the colors out very, very nice looking. They looked terrible, or I'd get them and the pages would just fall apart in my hands pretty much. Or the worst ones that I got, the spine was just gone. Like I would open it up and the pages
Oh,
would come out of the spine.
oh wow.
So I'm like, well, obviously I'm happy that I ordered test copies because I didn't want to just, order 100 copies, so to speak, and get them, and they all have these issues, and then tell people, "Hey, sorry, I'm not going to be able to make, the date that I promised you."
Mhm.
Um, so I narrowed it down to this one printer that I got over the course of this year and a half, and they do good work. The colors look great. The spine is in great condition. Um, I like their work a lot. They are on the expensive side for me, but that's fine with me as long as my backers are getting a good quality comic within a reasonable price that I can afford. I'm happy, because I do not want to have a debut comic where people order a book for me, because these I get it, they're not cheap. Once you're done paying for shipping and all that, they can get expensive. So I want to make sure that if you're paying that kind of money, you're getting a good book, and you're not just getting something that's going to fall apart after reading it, 2 times.
Right. So did you say that you got like test copies, or did you
Yeah.
actually like do a print run?
No, I ordered a few test copies. So
Okay.
I ordered a few test copies, and then I have a few copies on hand that I'm predicting I'm going to sell. So like of cover A,
Mhm.
that I've already got the packaging and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Because I wanted to get used to packaging stuff up. I wanted to make sure it's all packaged right. I wanted to do a test run.
Sure.
So I went to the post office and all that
Right.
to figure out which postal service do I want to use, what packaging do they give me to use, do they give me any packaging at all. So like I said, learning from ground zero.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot, and I'm happy that I did it the way that I did it. Being a solo indie though is it makes me happy that there are some indies, like there's like a writer and artist team out there, because you kind of share the burden a little bit in learning and things like that. But yeah, being solo, just starting out, it was difficult, and that's why it took me a year and a half. So I do want to thank everybody who has been following me for the past year and a half. I appreciate all your support. Truly, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Let me see. Let me get to the chat for a moment. I always hate it when I'm in this chat, and basically the chat is completely ignored. Like there's a panel like talking stuff, and basically the chat is just there. So you have to interact, right? Let me see what I missed. You have a question from I think it's a question for you, Calvin. Marvel or a DC?
Marvel.
All right, Marvel.
Not Disney Marvel. I'm talking like Marvel
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it used to be.
Pre-Disney.
Yes.
The good Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Sabretooth as a rival to Wolverine, practically perfect. Yeah, it was technically like this evil Wolverine, right? Let me see. And now Dave is making bank. I wish, man. Welcome, Glenn Fleming. Welcome, sir. He says, looks great, Calvin. Good luck with the campaign.
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Yeah, man, you have a lot of support here. Guys, the link to this campaign is pinned in the chat. It's also in the description of this video. Go check it out. Maybe it's something you want to support. So before we talk about the story, shall we watch the trailer?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. All right. There we go. I think so. That's cute.
Thank you.
Oh, that was look at that. Look at that. You're the go-to. What is it? Well, you put some work into that, into the trailer.
Oh, the art studio that deserves all credit for that. I did do a little bit of video editing myself, but yeah, I got to give my art studio credit for that. They did a phenomenal job. I'm very happy with how that turned out.
Really nice. Mike says, "Well, that opening sounds classy."
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I actually hired a composer to do that musical number.
Oh, really? Wow. You're going full in, right? This is your big project. You've been working on this for like many years now, right? So the last time you were here, you were basically talking about the project that it would become eventually, right? So this was
Right. I've been working on this for about a conservative estimate would be about 5 years.
wow. Yeah.
But I wrote the story of Underworld Don. Oh man, like way back in like probably like we're talking like 2011, 2012, somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, this means that that this is important to you. We all have that one big story in that one character or group that we want to tell, right?
Right.
And Mike says that guy with the goatee, he has to be extra careful every time he eats. Doesn't that suck as a price to look that intimidating?
Well, I'll say something that I will only let those who are watching this stream now and in the future know. I based Don Herconi off of a certain insect, and if you look at his hair and his goatee, hopefully you'll be able to guess what I based his powers off of. You can also look at his tie.
Right. Okay. That's cool. You inspiration from different things. That's really cool. Let's see if we can figure that out, guys. Underworld Dawn, issue 1, created by Calvin Gulotta, and a 50-page story of villains and power. So you launched, like, when did you launch?
September 3rd.
All right, September 3rd. All right. And you have 16 backers right now. So you basically took the full 60 days.
Correct.
16 backers. You still need to reach the goal. So come on, guys. Let's help Calvin reach the goal. The goal. This looks nice. This art is pretty.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So these are variant covers. There are bigger versions.
There are those are the character covers down right there that you're seeing right now. And then there's cover A is what you would call, I guess, the mass printed version, the main version.
The main book, yeah, the main one.
Yeah.
Oh, Gomez Lee, welcome. This is anime shit. Well, what's good shit? Shit nowadays means good. This is the shit, Yeah. So
yeah, thank you.
Nice color work, also. So did the artist do everything? Did he do the colors also?
Well, there are two that I know of. So there are two artists. They both have worked on my comic. One is a little more expensive than the other one. So if you notice any quality difference in, say, for example, the character covers versus the actual comic itself, I did hire the little more expensive one to do the covers because the cover is the first thing you see. And as much as I would love to have the more expensive artwork in the comic, that was just I'll be honest, I just didn't have the money. It was expensive, having the second one do it. And I love them both, by the way. They're both of these girls do a fantastic job. They're both great. But yeah, one of them does have a bit more like detailed, like with the shadows and the colors and things like that, with the way she draws and colors.
Right.
But yeah, to answer your question, it is one artist who does the coloring, the line work, and all that. So that's why I wanted to, shout her out. She does do a good job.
Yeah, really cool. Gorilla Mar says does look very good.
Thank you, Gorilla Mar. Appreciate that.
And I know, sir, that from experience, like you have your goal very low. By the way, it's in That's a bit weird, right? Euros. Let me set it in. Oh wait, can I do that here? I can't do that here, right? Oh, here we go. See, there we go. Continue. Go on. There we go. $1,000. You are taking a financial beating, sir, because this book will cost you a lot more. Art,
I could have paid off my student loans with how much I put into this.
yeah.
And student loans in America are kind of nuts, but yeah, I could have paid off my loans.
But basically, what you're trying to do here is get it out there, right?
Yeah, I'm more concerned with getting this out there, getting this into
Yeah.
people's hands. This $1,000 goal is really just. I didn't want to do 500 because I thought that was way too low. So I was like, you know what, $1,000. I think that's realistic for someone like me. Again, if I sound negative, it's just me being realistic. You know, I'm
Sure.
not very well known. I don't have a lot of followers. I know that I have a VTube model, but I'm not a VTuber, so I don't create VTube content. I've thought about streaming. I don't know what platform I would stream on. I think, you know, Twitch is the obvious answer, but I have some pretty. I think the kids today call it based takes, and I don't want to get this following over on Twitch to get banned because I said a no word. So yeah, I've been thinking about creating some video content because I did talk to Tyler with Drawing Comics, and he basically said, you know, for writers, you know, the trick with you guys is, you know, you can't, you know, just have like a subscribe star and say, you know, subscribe for $5 a month, you'll get new artwork. Because I can't guarantee you'll get that every week or every month because I'm not drawing it, right? So he said the best thing you can do is create video content. But you know, I'm camera shy, which is why I'm, you know, behind a V2 model. And I couldn't do what you do, Dave. I can't do interviews. I don't think that I could do stuff like that. So I'm like, well, the next best thing is to maybe try streaming games. So that's something I'm thinking about doing. But yeah, I thought $1,000 for someone like me who just doesn't have, you know, a high follower count yet and is relatively unknown in the space, in the, you know, in the indie space. I think that I thought that was a fairly decent, you know, goal for someone like me to have.
Yeah. And you know, man, this is a marathon, right? This is something you start now, and you keep producing books, and people get to know you,
exactly.
get to know the characters, the stories, and slowly you will build this audience. But it takes time, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But you will never make anything with your first publications.
Right. I have had people reach out to me. I've had some publishers reach out, and then I've had I don't want to go too into it, but I've had people asking me about if I would put this on Webtoons. The answer is no. I'm very protective of my IP. To put it in perspective, anybody who works with Underworld Don or anything that I have written, I have a work made for hire contract that I have them sign.
Really?
Yeah, I do have. Of course, I have it in the contract that the artist can you know, put it in their profile. You know, I credit them. I make sure that they, you know, for example, we consider their artwork by Light Comics. You know, and that's the studio, by the way, that does the artwork here. I make sure that they're all credited and everything. But I have read and heard enough horror stories of writers working with artists, and then, you know, the writer writes the story, comes up with the characters, and then the artists decide they want a bigger piece of the pie. And then they have to, you know, go to, you know, court for, you know, copyrights and all that stuff. And I don't want to put up with that. So I figured the best way to protect myself is to just have that. And I absolutely do hate asking artists to sign that contract because I feel like a sleazy, you know, businessman, but it's really just to protect myself. And when I did go get copyright, so I had to go to the Library of Congress and file for copyright. They did ask for a work made for hire contract. Because they'll ask you, are you the artist behind the illustrations? No. Okay, well, you need a work made for hire contract from the art studio, whoever worked on this, saying that you own the artwork, because if you don't own the artwork, we can't give you copyright. So I'm glad that I did it to start off with, because I already had it all ready to go.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's everyone needs to find their own way, what makes them feel comfortable and as long as people you work with are happy with the arrangement,
Mhm.
then perfectly fine, man. That's
Yeah, the studio actually, they're like, hey, I know that, we're in a different country than you, but whenever you're done, can you please send us some copies because we would love to have some copies for the artists, the people who are involved to read, and we have people over here wanting some of your stuff. So yeah, once this funds, and I'm shipping out to my backers, I will of course send some stuff out to the art studio because I love to support them.
right. Dr. Rhino, he says, sorry for the lateness. Welcome, Dr. Rhino.
Yeah, welcome.
Oh,
Thank you for coming.
better late than never. Welcome, sir. Gorilla Mar says, got you backed. Do you
Oh, thank
mean
you.
right now?
Thank you so much.
Do you mean right now, Gorilla Mar? 17 backers.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gorilla. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Woo!
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
Woohoo! Love it.
I wish you guys could see the smile on my face right now. I don't have this model
The
rigged
animation
very well
doesn't
right
smile.
now. Yeah, that's the sad thing. It doesn't show my excitement very well on these V2 models. It takes a lot of rigging to get any sort of like voice expression or emotion to show on these models. But thank you so much. I appreciate you more than I can say.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. And Dr. Rhino says, I'm going to help you, Calvin.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Rano.
Well,
I appreciate any help.
Yeah. Doctor, I think this is right up your alley. I happen to know what Dr. Rhino tends to like for kind of comics, right? And I think he will really like this. And is this character like you have these I don't know the name. You have these beetles that's no wait,
Oh no,
ants. You have
Dave,
these
Dave
pincers?
guessed it. Yep, Dave guessed it. Yeah, you guys. He's based off a Hercules beetle.
A
It's like
Hercules
Don
beetle.
Herconi, Hercules
Oh,
beetle. They got the
that's his name
yeah,
also, Herconi.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, you'll when he. I'm not gonna spoil it, but he gets in a fight later where he powers up, and it makes it obvious what he's based off of later on.
That is cool. That is so cool. Yeah, this art is phenomenal. You really struck gold there. So these designs, did you make sketches or did you hire people to design these characters for you?
Yeah, so I sketched when I was coming up with the design. So of Clavius, for example, I'm a big fan of the Godfather movies. So I knew that I wanted that slicked back black hair look. That just says Mob Don to me.
Right.
And obviously a suit. And that just every Don has to have a suit. Just you're the Don, you're the boss.
Mhm.
And then the hardest part for me to sketch and get done, and the artist did a good job, is his horns. So I did not want basic triangle horns, that are on most demon models. Nothing wrong with that. I don't mean that in negative connotation in any way, shape, or form, but I wanted something a little bit more unique.
Yeah.
So I like curved horns a lot. I don't know why. It just appeals to me.
Yeah, of course.
So I wanted him to have these kind of curved horns that go kind of like pointed into the back. It was really hard for me to do. I actually had a couple of artists work on the horns. And I finally found one. She actually specializes in horns, and I found her on Twitter, oddly enough.
Specialize in horns?
Yeah, she is like all of her her artwork has like like demons with horns in them. So I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, I'm having a hard time. My art studio is also kind of having a bit of a hard time getting these horns correct. Can I hire you to do a horns reference sheet?" And she did. She did a great job.
Right. Mike says 2 moons in the sky, an evil moon and original moon.
I'm not spoiling that.
It's here. Right.
Yeah, you're on to something, Mike, but I'm not spoiling it.
Is this some sort of depiction of hell or something?
So I get this question a lot.
All right.
This is a separate dimension called the Underworld. It's in its own pocket dimension.
Right.
The only way to get into the Underworld, though, is you have to go through hell to get to the Underworld.
Okay. Right. So something below hell. even.
Yeah, it's like right. I have a map of it on my website, but it's basically right next to it.
Okay.
I took something from Dante's Inferno, the rings of hell.
Yeah.
I really like how that was portrayed, and so I'm like, you know what, I kind of want to do the same thing a little bit with my own spin on it. So yeah, so I guess you could say it's like hell adjacent.
Right.
So you'll see like demons from hell in there. You'll see otherworldly creatures. You'll see denizens of the underworld that were made there. I also put my own spin on because people have asked, well, we see in your comic that some demons are they get attacked and they die, but they're
Mm,
already dead if they're in hell. That's the afterlife. So what kind of what happens? Um, I depict that later on, and I don't want to spoil that either. But yeah, technically they're still undead slash alive. Their soul just goes somewhere else,
right.
and then they can get reanimated into their demon form later on. That's all I'll say.
Right. By the way, I missed something. Darkside says, Calvin, don't say that you can't do that. It takes time and dedication. The more you do it, the easier it gets.
Oh, thank you, Darkside. I appreciate the confidence boost. I really do. Thank you. It's really just more along the lines with I know I've got a very monotone voice, and at least Dave has this cool accent, and so you like listen to him for an hour or two. But for me, it's just kind of like this guy sounds monotone. This is boring. so yeah,
I think
practice about it.
I was very insecure. Also, I have this little stutter, right? But it got better. My stutter got less because I basically kept practicing, just doing this, and kind of forgetting you're doing this live thing, and and who cares? Who cares anyway? So you have to try to zone out like what people think about you, right? Because you just
Right.
need to do it, and you're doing this, right? Not other people. It's very easy for people to judge you when they don't do it. And
Yeah,
basically,
100%.
this is your business, right? You're trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make some
I
money.
am a business now. That was another thing that
Yeah.
kind of took me a while was registering. Calvin Gulotta LLC. I finally got that in. And that's why when you go to my Kickstarter and you see like zero funded, whatever, so on and so forth. I created everything completely separate from my actual account that I used to on Kickstarter and
Mm,
on my comic and all that, because I did meet with an accountant and he had said the best thing you can do starting out as a business owner is you make everything separate. So like your Kickstarter account, all that, create a new account for everything. I even made
mhm.
a new bank account because he said you want everything separate from your own personal account, because that way if God forbid the IRS comes to you, which in the US the IRS is the tax guy basically.
Yeah,
If they
exactly.
come to you and they say, hey, you reported that you spent this amount and then you had a loss of X amount of money, prove that. Well, this way with the separation of my accounts, I can prove, yeah, here's my campaign, here's what I made there, here's where also my losses because I have a separate bank account,
Yeah,
what I paid. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You have to have your own business thing and your personal thing, and so yeah, it's a lot of stuff you have to think about, right? When you run campaigns, when you try to be a business. So these are the covers, right? So this is
Yeah, these are the character covers.
yeah, the character covers.
And
So
they all have a
this is
supporter edition
technically
text on them. Even yeah, that's cover A. That also has a
that's the
supporter
main
edition
cover. Yeah,
text on it.
right.
Yeah. So the way this works and the way that I wanted it to work is for this campaign only. Every cover you order, whether it be the special character covers or cover A, the main cover, you will get the supporter edition text underneath of that cover mark. So that way, in the future, when I do reprints, there will not be a supporter edition text marker under there because I
Mhm.
want you, the backers, the supporters, to have something unique.
Yeah.
I originally wanted the character covers to only be for this campaign. Like you would only be able to get these character covers during this campaign.
Mhm.
But there again, I'm not big enough to sell that many covers to where I could recoup the amount of money I put into these covers. Because these covers, they each one carried with it its own cost. So I'm like, I don't want to pay for these covers and then not be able to reuse them because they are beautiful. At least to me, I think they came out really great, and I don't want to just not use them ever again.
Eslin, welcome. Eslin Burkholder, welcome, welcome. She says, "Love what's on screen now, the female figure."
Oh, thank you. That's right now. That's Eleanor. If that's the one that you're referring to, that's Eleanor.
Yeah, she's cute.
Thank you. I'm glad that she's getting some love because I have had people tell me, whether it be over voice chat or in messages, tell me that they don't like her because she
Why?
looks too childish. So if you scroll up a little bit to cover A, you can see that I had the artist up a little bit to the main cover.
Oh, cover A, right?
Yeah. You can see there I had them make her face a little bit longer and not make it so round to make her look a little older. So I wanted her to still have her cute. I based her off of like Betty Boop.
Oh,
You know, like
okay,
you
yeah.
know, and in my head when she talks, it's kind of she sounds like a New Yorker. I think the perfect voice actress if I was ever blessed enough to have this be a series, like a TV series, would be Marissa Tomei. That would be who I would pick to voice act Eleanor.
All right. Yeah.
But when you that more like
So she sounds older than she looks, right?
yes. But it's I still liked Betty Boop the way that she looked, that because like that 1920s dress, the hair, the slang. I liked that look for her. And that's her character background. She's from the 1920s. Well, so is Clavius, but he doesn't sound like Betty Boop when he talks.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So you really envision the voices also when you write them.
Yeah, so as I'm writing them, as I'm kind of sketching them out in like a really super rough sketch, because like I said, the art studio, again, I want to credit them where credit is due because I love their work. They are the ones who draw the characters. I will sketch them if I have to. If they can't, like let's say the character description, they take that and they sketch it out. And I'm like, no, that's not really how they look. Then I'll go in and I'll sketch out certain parts of the character of how I want them to look, and then they'll go back and they'll fix that. But yeah, as I'm doing that, I have kind of voices in my head. I know that makes you sound kind of crazy, but I have a range of voices in my head. When I'm sketching out their dialogue, what do they sound like? How do they talk? What's their mannerisms? Because to me, that's also how they will look. Is how they talk is how they'll look and dress.
Dr. Ryan says, "I am convinced. I like you, sir. Even read through your campaign. I have utter belief in your vision. You have my full support."
Oh, thank you, Dr. Rano. That means quite a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, man. Eastland says, "Do the characters ever really interrupt as you write the stories?"
Yes, especially the girls.
The girls, of course.
And
Really
I don't mean that in a negative way. They're just they're it's mostly Eleanor who interrupts me because she's kind of rambunctious, so to speak.
Hey, Calvin, this all looks really cool. The art is really nice. The concept is interesting. It's a little bit vague, but I think that works for this particular like story theme. You want people to discover it, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of hints and Easter eggs, especially in the character covers, and I don't want to give away too many details because the story is schemes, plots, and power. I want to provide the reader with hints of what might be coming, and then once it finally arrives, I want them to be like, "Oh wow, I guessed this. I got the hints. I can't believe that this is what was, going to be what was going to happen." Or be like, "Oh man, I can't believe that happened. I should have picked up on the hint. He showed it like in issue 1, and then in issue 2, this happened. Oh my gosh, I should pick up on that."
Right. Yeah. So you have plans.
And thank you, Eastland. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you for that compliment. Rear writers have voices in their head.
Yeah, they do. So how far into production are you?
Well, it's completely done. All this
it's
is
done.
this is all done.
Excellent.
So I say the projected delivery date is March 2025. I am aiming to get that done a lot sooner. The reason why I put it out to March 2025 is, again, this is my first campaign. This is my debut series.
Hmm.
I am being very careful of delays. So let's say the printer, once this is all done, I think Kickstarter waits for 14 days for refunds, and then if there's no refunds after that, then they'll distribute me my money. And then I think Stripe, I have to wait on Stripe too, because I think they take a percentage out of that. And then I get the full amount. I think that's how that works. So
So
then
right now, have you already put out a printing order? Are the books being printed, or are you not at that stage?
I already have some of cover A printed in here
Okay.
with me.
Right.
The books have been printed as far as cover A goes. I have not ordered any books of cover B yet, of any of the character covers yet, because I want to see how popular those are. I've predicted that more people will order cover A, simply because that's the main cover. But once I start seeing people ordering more of the character covers, I plan on ordering more of those, because my goal is, once this is done, I will start shipping as soon as this is done. But like, again, I'm also predicting there are going to be bumps along the way. Maybe there's going to be a delay with printer. Maybe there'll be a delay when I get to the post office and they say, hey, since your campaign ended in November, we have the Christmas stuff. We're going to have
Oh, right,
delays.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm predicting delays, and I'd rather predict farther out to like March. So then that way, if you get your books earlier, great. Who's going to complain about getting their books earlier?
Yep. And if you get delay, no one will even notice, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Even if I have like a 2-month delay, it's still March. I can still start shipping in February if I have to. But yeah.
Yeah, good thinking. Ethan says, when I get stuck in a story novel, I go on a walk and the character will explain how I really am mangling this point, or just chat about their lives.
Oh, so I'm not crazy. Okay. Thank you, Easton.
No, you're not the only one. Right. Excellent. All right. Well, 47 days to go. You will easily make your goal. No problem. But we hope you make like 10K, 20K.
Oh,
This be a big success. So guys, if you like this campaign, please talk about it. Just share it on your social media. Share it out. Help Calvin out, because this book looks fantastic. It's been years in the making. The book is technically done, so you will get it pretty soon.
yeah, and again, thank you, Dave, for having me on. And I do want to say, so for those of you watching now, maybe those of you watching in the future, one of the best things you can do for me, if you're not in a position to contribute, monetarily wise, and I mean that with all due respect. Again, I know times are hard everywhere. You can go to my website. It's up there. Read it and review it for me. Tell me what you liked about it. What didn't you like about it? If you have any, points or pointers rather, let me know. I need feedback. I'm not going to improve if I don't know what's wrong. So tell me if you didn't like it. Tell me why. Please be nice about it. If you're gonna tell me you hated it and then attack me, I'm probably not gonna respond. But yeah, just and if you loved it, great. Why did you like it? So that way I know what to keep doing.
But you said people can go to your website.
Yeah,
So
it's on my website. You can go to my website and read it there if you want.
what's your website called?
Underworlddon.net. It's at the very bottom of the campaign.
Oh, it's here, right?
Yeah, it's go up a little bit. Yeah, right there. Otherwise, you can help. Yep.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right, guys, go check it out. Provide feedback if you like. Read this comic. Back it if you can, and if you can, just share it out. Let's make this happen, guys. This is fantastic. All right, stop the screen. Stop the screen for now. Right, and then I need to do a little bit of shilling of my own for just a few minutes, guys. For just a few minutes, so please bear with me. I just showed Perfect 10 Book 5 and POWERTRIP Book 2 on Indiegogo, but we're also on Fund My Comic, right? So this is the Fund My Comic page, because here we have it's the same book but with a different cover, and the cover is Fund My Comic exclusive. It's drawn by the legendary Allan Goldman. Look at this, guys. Excellent.
Oh, that is a beautiful cover.
I know, right?
Wow.
It's so good. It's so good. And you can get it only here on Fund My Comic. It's a platform made by creators for creators. If you like this, if you backed already on Indiegogo and you would like to add this cover to your shipment without extra shipping costs, just add the checkout, fill in the code shipping paid, and it will deduct the extra shipping cost, and it will just go with your Indiegogo order, right? So the rest is all the same, and we added this new peek at one of the pages that is now being inked. It's really, really cool. Look at this, guys. The art is so good. I love this book. I love this series. This is issue 5, and we can only make these books because of you guys, because you make this happen, right? So thank you so much. We have 6 days to go on Fund My Comic. Stop the screen. Woo! Calvin, thank you so much for being my guest for today and for showing us your campaign. A lot of luck with it, sir.
Oh, thank you, and thank you again for having me on. I know you've got a lot of people interested in coming on your show, Dave, but I'm very thankful that you let me come on again, and your chat has been absolutely wonderful. So thank you to everybody in the chat as well. I appreciate all you being here.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Jens, what do you think about the show?
You want me to give comment on your show, your online show, because you know what? You're not a YouTuber, but you did sell the comic.
I did. Well, I didn't. Calvin did, because he made a fantastic comic. People like it. This was a fun stream. Yes. Thank you, Marinus. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, chat. Without you, we're just talking, right? So, so thanks so much for being here. If you like this conversation, give it a like. If you didn't like the conversation, give it a dislike. And I'm very sorry. I will be back next week. Same channel, same time, new guest. Hope to see you guys then. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.